Hello, everyone. It's Frank Gartland with Skillable. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to record a quick video and help you understand the types of hands-on labs that our customers create using the Skillable platform. When you think about hands-on labs, it's really about experiential learning. It's about giving the learner or the individual a hands-on experience that's relevant to what they need to do on the job with some kind of guidance that helps them know what you'd like them to do, like what skills you'd like them to practice. So when you think about a lab, the actual components of a lab, there's really three things. And labs are complicated. There's a lot going on here, that the Skillable platform really simplifies for our customers. But really, there's three big things to consider. The first thing is, well, what is the environment we're talking about learning? Think of it as a sandbox. A lot of times people say, well, just give me a sandbox. People that are doing a hands-on keyboard type of exercise. And basically that means just give me a subscription or give me, a link to the application. Let me play with the application. So imagine these are highly configured sandboxes. So as you see my mouse kind of moving around right now, this happens to be Excel. And this is a version of Excel that's provisioned from an active live Microsoft 365 subscription. And that subscription has Microsoft Copilot turned on, right? In this particular case. This could be any type of application or a server or platform or application that you can dream of. If you can see it on your screen, we can typically get that into a lab. And I'm going to get a little bit more into that as we go. The second part of a lab is this notion of, well, what do you want the person to do? These scenario-based instructions. So now if you see my mouse over here at the right side, where we're analyzing safety data using Excel and Copilot. These are the instructions. This is like, hey, here's your situation. Here's your scenario. Go do this thing, configure this, troubleshoot that, eliminate this virus. Whatever it happens to be that you'd like that learner to do is over here in the instructions. The third bit, which is an optional bit, is do you want to score it? So this is about skill validation, or if you want to give someone in a learning experience real confidence that, hey, you just did it right, that validation, you can do things here, like you can see here in the very bottom, this verify your work, just validating that actual outcomes that need to be done on the job were actually done in the lab. And the Skillable platform has tools that allow this to happen. So if you think about this for a minute, well, what kinds of things can you build labs on, right? So I think the first thing is, well, obviously we've got Excel here. So, here's a different Excel lab, a similar thing though, it's Microsoft 365, but this could be basically, again, any application, whether it's an end user application, etc. The next thing though, is not just hands-on keyboard skills, there's hands-on skills. Like say, for example, what Siemens Healthcare did with this particular ultrasound machine. Now they have other labs for various MRI machines and PET scan machines, bone scan machines. Like this particular one was designed for the types of folks who are flipping this thing around and pulling the cards out and tuning the system every month, the maintenance folks, to make sure that, I should say the technicians really, that are making sure that this is tuned correctly so that when the nurse says, hey, it's a boy, like the machine's working correctly, so it really is a boy. We know that it is for sure, right? The next thing though is it's also used for nurses, where different kinds of labs, the nurses can zoom in to this area, use the touch screen, use the tracker ball, use all the different gadgets and widgets on this thing by using their mouse and just using the machine without having to have the actual physical machine there, right? So they do this for nurse certification, which is really cool. So when you think about labs, look, what are the things you can build a lab on? It's kind of endless, and we've sort of categorized it into 9 different things. Of course, along the top, you see some things that are really common that we've been building labs on for years. Cybersecurity, you name the cybersecurity company, the cybersecurity software organization, like we do a lot of things around cybersecurity. Cloud and DevOps, a huge strength. Systems administration, really where our roots were, 15 and 20 years ago. Of course, data has always been important, but it's shifted over the last 10 or 15 years from data engineering and database work like SQL Server and Access, years ago, to really more like what Tableau is doing with data science and deep analytics. What Microsoft and also Tableau are doing with AI and machine learning, like AWS. There's lots of things in this area. And then, of course, just coding, like tons of coding labs, of course, end user applications, and then physical equipment like we talked about a moment ago with Siemens. Now, just to give a little bit more as we kind of wrap up. So whether or not you've built your own tailored application in Salesforce.com, and you want to provision this Salesforce.com in a safe place where your team can kind of practice these things, or where your partners can end up, can put in their orders into Salesforce. You can build labs on that. If you want your data folks to really learn, how do I use R to create some really cool data stories and visualizations? Great. Like R Studio is an example, or maybe other Jupyter Notebooks types of folks, because they're just learning data science. So anything that you can put on screen, but then of course, even things like equipment, whether it's you working with a particular machine at your manufacturing plant, or it's just figuring out, hey, how are we going to swap out network cards and video cards and do things like in an A+ class, as an example. And then finally, really hands-on things like, hey, let's pick up an actual dropper full of chemicals and put them into different test tubes to make sure we're doing blood testing the right way, right? These are things that, again, Siemens Healthcare provides to some of their staff, their customers, to help folks with different kinds of hands-on experiences. So I hope this opened your eyes a little bit to what Skillable can do for your partners, for your customers, in terms of experiential learning. Looking forward to talking to you next time. Thank you.